Hello everyone, thank you to Alyssa for the introduction of our films. My name is Adam Tamino, and I will begin analyzing both the original and remake of The Secret in Their Eyes. I will start by saying that I think the original is a superior film, and there are two things that really set it apart. The first is rather simple, and it's the rating. The original is given an R rating while the remake is PG-13. A film's rating does not necessarily make it good or bad, but in this case, an R rating gives the original film a harder and more realistic edge. The film deals with a very dark topic, the brutal rape and murder of a young woman. This content needs to be softened at times to fit a PG-13 rating for the remake, while the original can be much more frank in its language and violence. Another thing that sets the original apart is subtlety. In the original film, the characters are much more reserved in their emotions, at least outwardly. They do not always say what they are thinking, and we sometimes wonder why they're doing what they're doing. For example, we want to know why Benjamin is so obsessed with solving this case, but he never actually says it out loud. It's up for the audience to put the pieces together and figure out his reasons. In the remake, the characters are constantly telling each other what they're thinking and why they're doing what they're doing, laying all their emotions and motives out for all to see. There is no mystery to the characters' behavior this way. And their actions are also much more obvious and less subtle. Benjamin occasionally has minor outbursts in the original, but in the remake, Ray is frequently dissolving into violent rages. He's supposed to be a former FBI agent working in a counterterrorism operation, but all of his professionalism disappears under the slightest pressure. It makes his character less believable. Now I'm going to look at three of the more technical aspects of the film and their similarities and differences. I'll first start by looking at the characters. Benjamin in the original film is a retired investigator nearing old age. He's at the point in his life where he's more reflective and is writing a novel on the case. He also does not own any unfinished business as he gets older, and this helps explain some of his behavior. He's in love with his boss, which serves as his main motivation for solving the case, albeit in an indirect way. In the remake, Ray is a younger character who was a former FBI agent and counterterrorism official who now works for the New York Met's security department. He spent the last 13 years looking into the murder of a co-worker's daughter. He also loves his superior at work in Claire, but that is not his main motivation for solving the case. He feels guilt because he was supposed to meet the victim the morning she was murdered, but got caught up at work. Both men are similar in their dedication to solving the case, but are motivated by different factors and approach it in very different ways. There are also differences in the narrative between the two films. The original is able to tell two stories to completion, the solving of the case and the love story between Benjamin and his boss Irene. The original only tells the story of the case, and Ray and Claire's relationship is not pursued to completion. The original can tell these two stories because they are intertwined in the mind of Benjamin. He sees the love that Morales has for his dead wife, Liliana. This dedication inspires Benjamin, who loves Irene but is unable to tell her. You get the impression he's pursuing the case to learn more about love than he is to learn about what exactly happened. By the end of the film, when the true depth of Morales' dedication to Liliana is discovered, it drives Benjamin to tell Irene his true feelings. In the remake, the husband-wife relationship between Morales and Liliana is replaced by the mother-daughter relationship of Jessica and Carolyn, which in turn virtually eliminates an effective love story between Ray and Claire. The relationship between Ray and Claire is sort of frustrating in the remake because it's not fully explored and also lacks the passion of the relationship between Benjamin and Irene. The remake's romance feels kind of like a middle school crush, while the romance in the original is between two mature adults who have to come to terms with their feelings even though it will complicate their lives. The final element I will explore is the cinematography of the two films. In this case, there is one sequence in particular in which the original blows the remake out of the water. Benjamin and his partner Sandoval are searching for the suspect Gomez at a soccer match. The entire sequence is filmed to look like a single unbroken shot. I suspect there may be hidden cuts in there somewhere, but the effect is nonetheless breathtaking. It begins with a long shot of a soccer stadium from overhead. The camera swoops down to the stadium, flies over the action on the field, then twists over the crowd until it lands on Benjamin standing in the crowd among the fans. The unbroken shot continues then as Benjamin and Sandoval spot Gomez in the crowd, chase him through the concourse and eventually down onto the field. This shot lasts for about 5 minutes and is one of the most fascinating exercises in cinematography I think I've ever seen. The remake looks as if it's going to recreate this, beginning with an aerial view of Dodger Stadium and a similar approach to Ray and his partner Bumpy in the stands. But then it proceeds with normal cuts throughout the foot chase. The kinetic energy of the sequence in the original is completely stymied in the remake, and at no point in the remake is an original or interesting choice made in the cinematography. It seems to have a much lower artistic standard. That wraps up what I'm going to be talking about here, and I will hand things over to Kristen, who will finish up our analysis of the films. Thank you.